Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. I'm Nurul Kristina alias Kristinaku Abdullah from Lahad Datu Community College. Today I'm going to present our research about perceptions, challenges and readiness towards online teaching and learning among lecturers, a case study in Lahad Datu Community College. The researcher for this study is me myself and Welzen Simon. This study comprises of introduction, literature review, research questions, methodology, findings and discussion, limitation and implications of the study, and the last one is the conclusion. The introduction. The teaching and learning processes have changed significantly since the global outbreak of COVID-19. Online learning advances and replaces close face-to-face learning in institutions, informal education and non-formal education, according to Lapada ETAL 2020. The advance of online classrooms demanded a substantial adjustment in the communication techniques of lecturers and students, as well as summative assessment and content distribution. It is also important to guarantee that teachers' readiness is understood in order for online learning to be implemented successfully. This is according to MOSA ETAL 2020. Literature review. The first one is Al-Chamdani ETAL 2020 stated that the introduction to online learning is a new experience that provides flexibility and ease in studying without having to go to colleges. 86% students stated that intensive English online class was less effective due to the material offered may not be grasped by all students, and it is still a new experience for students and lecturers. Online learning environments include diverse of pedagogical practices and are often characterized by active learning student-centered pedagogical techniques. This is according to Baker 2003 and Brown 2005. Broadly identifies challenges with e-learning are accessibility, affordability, flexibility, learning pedagogy, lifelong learning, and educational policy in Murgatroyd 2020. Next, Sintema 2020 stated that the level of academic performance of the student is likely to drop for the classes held for both year-end examination and internal examination due to reduced contact hour for learners and lack of consultation with teachers when facing difficulties in learning. Nelson and Thompson 2005 cited that faculty time, rewards, workload, lack of administrative support, cost quality, student contact, and equipment are barriers to online teaching practices. So in order to achieve transition well from traditional pedagogy to active online learning pedagogies, faculty members may need to alter their teaching style use within their traditional classroom and embrace new skills to effectively reach the distant learners. Research questions. The first one is, what is the perceptions of online learning among lecturers? What are the underlying challenges that lecturers face towards online teaching and learning? And the last one is, to what extent lecturers strategize their readiness towards online teaching and learning? Methodology. The first one is research design, a qualitative approach, a case study of which the collection data tool was online interview method. The interview was recorded, transcribed, and analyzed by teams. The sample was for purposive sampling. Next, samples. The key informants in this study were 5 lecturers in service in Lahad Datu Community College. This is the summary of profile. 3 were single, 2 were married. Okay, the age four is above 25 years old and 1 is above 30 years old. Qualification, 1 from TESOL, 1 from Islamic Studies, and 3 from Food Science. Level of education, 1 is master holder and the rest are degree holders. Years of teaching, above 2 years. Next, instruments. Interview questions by focusing to the 3-folded research questions. Okay, there are 10 questions. The first question is about the key informants background, while questions number 2 until 4 is categorized as perceptions of online teaching and learning. Questions number 5 till number 7 to answer challenges of online teaching and learning. And the last one is from questions number 8 to number 10 is to answer the team's strategy of online teaching and learning. Procedures: selections of research participants, perform online interview, separate structure interviews with semi-structure questions prepared by the researcher with key informants. The third step is conversation were taped. Then after 2 weeks, the key informants were interviewed in an unstructured format. The key informants audio was compiled, copied the informant into writing form, and then manually transcribed, and the last one, the data of the study were analyzed by teams. Next is the findings and discussion. For Team 1, perceptions on online learning and teaching. The majority key informants are agreeing between perceived usefulness and perceptions of online learning. According to key informants 1 and 3, my perceptions is to make sure all the students can understand during online learning. While key informant 3, the perceptions of online learning can make teaching becomes easier when used online learning system, and the online learning system also useful for teaching. During online learning, the students seems active, but some of them are not interested in online learning. Okay, still in Team 1, majority of key informants agree with perceived ease and perceptions of online learning. Key informant 4 illustrated the use of technology in online learning in the following except. Okay, my interaction with online learning is I feel comfortable and more understand about online platform, which are Zoom meeting and Google Meet. Next, Team 2, the challenges on online teaching. Majority key informants are agree between technical behavior and the challenge of online teaching. According to key informant 5, the difficulty that I might face in online learning is that to be able to take part in students' lesson, because it requires a lot of quota and expensive data. If I want a good signal to be able to take part in students' lessons, because it requires a lot of quota and expensive data if I want a good signals. Okay, still in Team 2, the challenges on online teaching. Majority key informants agree between student passive and the challenge on online teaching. According to key informant 2, the challenge for passive student during online teaching is they are not often able to apply their learnings outside the visual classroom. I have to reprimand students often because they sometimes talk when learning takes place, which reduce learning time, and I cannot measure students' understanding. For Team 3, the strategized readiness towards online teaching and learning. The utilizations of instructional time, according to key informant 3, the strategic time I find it is difficult to assess cognitive aspects because of the interventions of peers to provide answers to their friends. So the assessment is not fair enough to describe the understanding of student. Next, still in Team 3, according to key informant 1, I have difficulty using instructional methods that are more attractive to students, like in the classroom, because the conditions are not possible. Everything is limited, including quota availability, sometimes bad signals, and students are not ready. So I use the questions and answer method to find out whether students are familiar with the material that I submit. So this is based on the majority key informants agree between instructional method and the strategic readiness towards online teaching and learning. Limitations of the study. The first one is the key informants' perceptions may change over time. The second one is the present study was conducted in one community college. Implications of the study. This study can help the community colleges management to identify solutions towards online teaching and learning issues and become an essential consideration for community colleges management and government to encourage the quality and effectiveness of online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the conclusion is online learning is still new to the community college lecturers, so they have difficulty making their online teaching and learning effectively. Lecturers were found to have a positive attitude about the usage of technology. Lecturers must receive professional development in digital skills in order to prepare for future educational activities. Community colleges should equip students with the necessary computer gear and software in order to encourage them to use online learning resources. This study is significant to lecturers, community colleges operators, and parents that eventually will lead to emotional well-being among in-service community colleges lecturers. Broadly identified challenges with e-learning are accessibility, affordability, flexibility, learning pedagogy, lifelong learning and education policy. And the last one is, in this study, the three-folded research questions have been answered. That's all from me. Thank you.